Counter tariffs, what the ongoing trade war will mean for Saskatchewan industries. Violently attacked, a Saskatoon man shares what happened after a night out with friends. And beaming into a local brewery, a Saskatoon business using science to study their craft.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. Canada took a tough position today, firing back at Donald Trump's 50% tariffs with dollar-for-dollar counter tariffs effective September 8th. They will apply to more than 700 U.S. imports worth $27.6 billion, including smartphones, kitchen appliances, and makeup. The federal ministers who made the announcement said there will be a $7.8 billion package of measures to protect Canadian workers and business. CTV's Mike Couture with the details.
The LaPlante family has been in the metal roofing business for 3 generations. In that time, they've weathered a lot of storms, but this trade war feels different.
We've been focusing and trying to grow our sales in the U.S. for the last 50 years, and now to see that disappear is quite a shock.
It's why he and his son are welcoming the $7.5 billion support package from the federal government, including extra money for employment insurance.
We're going to stand up for you.
The federal government also released the nearly 700 products it's targeting in their dollar-for-dollar tariff package on American goods starting September 8th. Tariffs on U.S. steel and aluminum will go from 25% to 50%. Other goods seeing levies at that rate include perfumes and makeup and honey, among other things. Seafood products, cheese, and large kitchen appliances will be hit with 25% tariffs.
We're also targeting products that will target states in the U.S. And so we're being wise and strategic to put political pressure.
There will also be economic pressures on Canadians, and government officials couldn't put a number on how these measures will impact the economy on this side of the border.
We will publish our estimate when we come to the budget 2026. But for the time being, I would say with the measures we're putting forward, this is really about supporting Canada, supporting worker communities and businesses.
Now, to help businesses even more, Philippe Laplante would like the government to go one step further.
Our Canadian government needs to be pushing that the hospitals, army bases, whether it's a school being built across Canada, is using Canadian steel by Canadian manufacturers here in Canada.
The government is also expanding a number of federal loan and grant programs. Billions of dollars will be made available to fund shovel-ready projects for Canadian businesses. And the Canadian Chamber of Commerce says this help needs to be in place urgently. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Here in Saskatchewan, manufacturers are now sifting through the details to determine how much or if they will be impacted. Dwayne Mantika has more.
Saskatchewan's Degelman Industries manufactures farm equipment at plants in Canada and in North Dakota. Supplies and product move back and forth between the two countries. Now Degelman is assessing how it may be impacted by American tariffs and Canadian counter tariffs.
These new rounds of tariffs are nothing new to us in the sense that, we've been dealing with this for the last couple of years. So we're fairly familiar with how the process works. But as we get more information on this newest round, we're just going to have to do a little bit more homework to see what it affects outside of the current ones.
Canada has announced counter tariffs on 700 U.S. products, along with a $7.5 billion aid package for Canadians. Degelman Industries believes it is better positioned than most logistically to avoid cost increases.
That's the thing about the tariffs is it doesn't affect everything that we do. It affects certain parts and certain materials, but a lot of our finished goods have been exempt for a while, and I don't believe these new ones will affect much more.
Premier Scott Moe has issued a statement offering support for the federal government's counter tariffs. They will cover about $1.5 billion, or 11% of Saskatchewan's annual imports from the U.S. The Premier said, "We are analyzing the counter tariff list closely and working working with affected industries to determine its potential impact on jobs and consumer prices, while also reviewing the federal government's support measures. The Premier did not indicate whether any additional support is contemplated for Saskatchewan businesses and workers. He did say the ultimate goal is to get back to a free and fair trade relationship with the United States. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
A Saskatoon man says a walk home after celebrating his birthday ended with a violent attack. As CTV's Stacey Hine reports, it comes as assaults have risen over the last few years in the downtown core.
Coming here and seeing where it happened has been a bit of a scary moment.
Ross Smith says he and his friend were walking home after a night out celebrating his birthday when they were approached by a group of strangers near Spadina and 20th Street East.
Didn't look their way, there was no animosity, and just on the corner of 20th they just decided to spray us in the face with bear spray. Could hardly breathe, couldn't see.
He says his friend ran for help, but he was unable to get away.
They just tripped me up, started kicking my head, my face.
He was taken to hospital with a gash to the back of his head, a black eye, and extensive bruising.
My left ear was as though I'd fought in the UFC. It was out to here.
Smith says he's grateful to the paramedics and hospital staff who helped him after the attack. Now he's sharing his story in hopes of warning others to use extra precaution.
Be wary and keep an eye when you're out there, because I didn't expect anything like this to happen in this city.
Data from Saskatoon Police shows there have been 177 assaults in downtown Saskatoon so far this year, and that assaults have increased by about 75% over the past 5 years, rising from 191 incidents in 2021 to 334 in 2025. Police say staying aware of your surroundings is key to personal safety.
The main thing we can stress to people is to maintain your sense of self-awareness. And so that means just knowing your surroundings, knowing where you are, in case you have to call for help, before you going out, making sure somebody else who's perhaps not with you knows where you are in case they need to offer some help to you.
A 17-year-old boy has been charged in connection with the attack and is facing 2 counts of assault with a weapon, carrying a concealed weapon, and possession of a weapon. A 15-year-old boy also faces charges. Smith says the experience has made him rethink how he gets home after a night out.
I will not be walking home anymore, that's for sure.
As for the 2 teenaged boys charged in this case, they're scheduled to appear in Saskatoon Provincial Court on September 16th. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, Jeff, today's smoke in the Saskatoon area making the temperatures a little bit muted.
A little bit muted, but and we also have that wind, and that's one of the reasons why we're dealing with the smoke, because that strong northerly wind pushing that smoke down into Saskatchewan. That looks like it's going to dissipate because the wind is going to shift around a little bit and won't be quite as strong. And we've got ourselves some warmer temperatures on the way, a lot more in the way of sunshine, and of course the storm system that came through our area 24 to 48 hours ago, that continued to make its way through Manitoba. Now it's Ontario's problem, because it will be creating some problems from Ontario, expecting some stormy conditions, first of all into western areas of Ontario and ultimately into the southwest as well. So it could mess up things at the CNE. So that's how things are shaping up. We'll have more details for you later on.
A team of investigators with the Transportation Safety Board of Canada is being sent to the Rosetown area to investigate a plane crash. RCMP say officers were called this morning to the RM of Marriott, where a small plane went down. The TSB says the investigators are expected to arrive in the area tomorrow. There is no word on the severity of the crash or if anyone was injured. Prince Albert police are looking for help in finding 2 suspects connected to a shooting that sent 1 person to hospital. They've released photos of 2 people wearing all black. One was on a motorized vehicle, the other seen walking in the area. On Sunday afternoon, emergency crews were called to 12th Street West, where the person had been shot. He was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Anyone who recognizes the 2 people in the photos or saw the incident is asked to contact Prince Albert Police or Crime Stoppers. A 35-year-old man has been charged after the windows of an RCMP vehicle were smashed in northeastern Saskatchewan. Sandy Bay RCMP released a photo of the damage caused when a man took a metal bar to one of their vehicles. They say just before 10 o'clock Saturday night, they heard banging coming from outside their detachment. When officers went outside, they found a man in their parking lot smashing windows. The 35-year-old from Sandy Bay is facing mischief, weapons offenses, as well as charges related to breaching probation. He has also been charged in connection to another incident in the community where another vehicle's windows were smashed. Saskatchewan's Court of Appeal has overturned a lower court decision that prevented a $25 million class action lawsuit against a Saskatoon church and a private school from going ahead. In June of 2025, a Court of King's Bench judge stayed a lawsuit against Mile 2 Church and its associated private Christian school, formerly known as Legacy Christian Academy. The lawsuit against 22 defendants alleged systemic abuse of students at the church and school. The judge stayed the case, saying there was an abuse of process because the plaintiffs failed to immediately disclose settlement agreements with 3 defendants. Today, the Court of Appeal ruled the case can proceed, stating an abuse of power did not occur. The city of Saskatoon says it has confirmed almost 24 new cases of Dutch elm disease. Of those, 6 are in the 200 block of Carlton Drive in the College Park neighborhood. The 6 trees, which are in a row, will be removed to curb the spread of the disease. That's one of the biggest groupings of trees the city has had to remove to date. Another 3 trees in a cluster will also be removed on Avenue C North in the Caswell Hill neighborhood. The city is reminding people it is illegal to transport, store, sell, or use elm wood, and that the elm pruning ban remains in effect until the end of the month. Dutch elm disease is caused by a fungus that causes a tree to die and is spread by elm bark beetles that are attracted to freshly pruned trees. Anyone who notices yellowing, wilting, or browning leaves on elm trees during the growing season is asked to contact the city. The Saskatchewan Health Authority says 2 new scanners operating in the province is providing better patient care. The first Star Guide scanner was installed in April of 2025 at the Regina General Hospital, with a second unit introduced at Royal University Hospital this past January. The CHA says compared to older nuclear medicine machines, these new scanners produce higher quality, more detailed images, giving radiologists more reliable results to help in diagnosing patients. The scanner is also quicker, with patients spending 20 to 30 minutes being assessed compared to an hour with the older machines. Since being installed, this technology has helped more than 2,800 patients. The province spent $2.1 million on Regina's Star Guide scanner. Irene and Leslie Dubé donated $2 million towards Saskatoon's. A rare copy of Treaty 6 is on display at Wanuskewin Heritage Park, offering visitors a look back at the agreement between the Crown and First Nations. And as CTV's Laura Woodward reports, it's an agreement that still shapes relationships 150 years later.
Behind this glass, a copy of Treaty 6.
This is such an important document, a historic document.
Treaty 6 was first signed in 1876 between the Crown and First Nations leaders. The agreement establishes rights and responsibilities around education, hunting, agriculture, and health care.
To acknowledge that we were going to share the land and, live in peace and harmony, and we'd be able to practice our ways of life.
This rare copy belongs to Flying Dust First Nation, and for Chief Tyson Bear, the history is personal.
It was my great-great-grandpa that had signed the documents.
The chief says the artifact was kept in a safety deposit box before leaders decided it should be shared.
I'm grateful that Wanuskewin has taken good care of it and displaying it and showcasing it and using it as an educational piece.
150 years after Treaty 6 was first signed, Wanuskewin says the document isn't just a window into the past, it's also a reminder of a relationship that continues today.
Yes, it is important for 1876, but also explains how we interact with each other today. It's going to explain how we interact with each other 100 years from now, 200 years now. It's a living agreement.
Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A special celebration near Prince Albert today. The Prince Albert Grand Council hosted the opening ceremony for the summer's Gathering of Nations today. The Grand Council says the gathering brings together First Nations from across Prince Albert Grand Council territory to enjoy traditional food, talent, and jigging competitions, arts and crafts, traditional games, among other cultural activities.
All the nations that make the Prince Albert Grand Council had their gatherings through the summer. So we wanted to make sure, after that we bring together towards the end of the summer season to come together, of course, and they show off the culture of the nations. That's why it's called a Nations Gathering.
The Gathering of Nations is a 4-day event and continues until closing ceremonies Friday afternoon. A Saskatoon brewery is using science to take a closer look at how beer is made and what can be done with what's left behind. As Carla Shinkrick tells us, 3 scientists from the Canadian Light Source have become unlikely brewmasters who are glad to put their beer under the microscope.
We're just doing specific gravity measurements.
Much of what's happening here at this local business, the Saskatoon Beer Lab, is a big experiment, literally. 3 scientists from the Canadian Light Source came up with the idea for the microbrewery with a mutual interest in beer and want to share their data with others who share their passion.
We want to explain to everyone what goes into making beer. And if people want to see those recipes and make them for themselves, awesome. If they just want to know the science that goes into it, even better.
Stobbs is one of the owners of the Saskatoon Beer Lab, but also works at the Canadian Light Source. Currently, his team brews lagers, pilsners, and pale ales, but the science doesn't stop at the bar. They're also looking at how to use what's left over after brewing, called spent grain.
And you're kind of left with the hull, and there should be proteins, so you should be fortifying some of these things. And we want to know, is that true? Is that actually happening? And do you even want to, eat this stuff?
The long-term goal is to turn that brewing byproduct into a functional flour for foods like bread, pizza dough, and pasta. Cheers. They've been brewing since February, but officially opened to customers in the last week of July.
I think they're actually one of the greatest in the city so far, I would say. And it's not only the beer, it's the atmosphere.
And this customer is happy with the added bonus of scientific expertise.
They are really passionate about their beer and how they're making it. So it's very interesting of listening to all the stories that he's saying, because he's very knowledgeable.
The brewery is working to source more ingredients locally, including Saskatchewan barley and hops. Their goal isn't to claim their beer is better, according to Stobbs, but instead they want to better understand how it's made and its potential to reduce the waste it produces. Carla Shinkrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still to come, the trade war deepens. What Donald Trump is threatening to change on Canada. Also, the loss of a legend. A look at the life and legacy of Dolly Parton. You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. Donald Trump took to social media today musing about renaming Lake Ontario Lake America and repeating his mantra that Canada is ripping off Americans. CTV's Abigail Beeman on the moves in Washington.
Among a morning barrage of anti-Canadian posts, we were labeled the most difficult and unreasonable. President Trump says the U.S. is seriously considering renaming Lake Ontario to Lake America because we don't expect to be doing much business with Ontario any longer, followed by this map and another in Lego from the White House.
We'll always call it Lake Ontario. Great Lakes. Period.
Canada's industry minister firm on that, and firm in response to Trump's message that he loves French Canadians.
The question is not about love. The question is about sovereignty.
The president said he would never interfere with Canadians speaking French, a lie made up by a weak and ineffective prime minister for political support.
While all these shenanigans are happening, we'll just be smart and we'll be strategic and we'll fight back.
But a shift in tone Tuesday from Ontario's premier.
Doug, you are a lot more mellow right now. I mean, yesterday you were telling the president to kiss your tush.
Doug Ford took to American airwaves once again, mellow and encouraging.
It got a little heated back and forth over the last day, but I really want to just get a deal signed. It's time to get back to the table and let's negotiate a fair deal. I'd rather make a great deal.
I think it's going to have a significant impact.
While this trade expert, who was once assistant chief negotiator in the United States Trade Representative's office, says Canada's counter tariffs will hit Americans, especially in states critical to Trump in the upcoming midterms.
Carpets are being made a lot in Georgia, in the state of Georgia. Georgia is a very big state that the Republicans are trying to win back that Senate seat. There's some on Tennessee, another critical state. There's some on products being made in Texas. So I think that there was some strategic thought put into not only what the products are, but where their production is located.
While there hasn't been much public presidential pushback from Republicans, sources tell us behind the scenes it's a slightly different story, especially in those states worried about midterms, with lawmakers listening more closely to constituents hurt by tariffs. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Washington.
Country music lovers around the world are processing the news that Dolly Parton has left us. The legendary musician and philanthropist rose to stardom as a singer-performer, but will be remembered for so much more. Her songwriting, her acting, her larger-than-life career, and her big smile. CTV's Genevieve Boschman shares Dolly's story.
Tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen. With her outsized personality and hairdo, Dolly Parton lived her life in rhinestones. Just because I'm blonde, don't think I'm dumb. But down-to-earth empathy shone through in the music she brought to millions worldwide.
I don't think about my life in terms of superstar. I'm just a working girl. I always say, and it's the truth, that I am a workhorse that looks like a show horse.
Just days ago, she shared a health update with fans, saying she was dealing with issues, and that even though she was healing, she was still working. Dolly Parton often said, as she did in song, that she was a country girl's version of glamour. She rose from poverty, the fourth of 12 children, her mother making clothes from rags, to riches, attaining glittering country music stardom and crossing genres. With her soprano voice, she delivered 25 '1 country hits, many of them she had written herself. She was one of the first women stars to write much of her own material. In the 1970s, her star rose. She delivered movies like 9 to 5, TV shows, and more hits. She was a country star inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and in later years focused on her charity work. Her husband, Carl Dean, died 17 months ago, a heartbreaking loss to Parton, who described their relationship as a great love story. Dolly Parton's nephew announced her death, as was her wish.
She wants to rest in a beautiful bed of plush cotton because after a life wearing heavy rhinestones, she finally deserves to be comfortable and have some rest.
Parton once said she hoped people would see her brains beneath her hair, her heart beneath her chest. But many also say it was her humanity that touched so many, and that her legacy is far more than her music. She was 80 years old. Genevieve Boschman, CTV News, Montreal.
There is a new warning for Iran after the U.S. said all mines have been detonated or removed from international waters in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. President Donald Trump says Tehran has been told that any vessel placing mines in the narrow passage will be destroyed. Attacks on ships have continued as the two sides vie for control of the key energy waterway. Data indicates that oil transits through the strait were at 5 million barrels per day yesterday. That's down from more than 20 million per day before the war. In southern France, the cleanup is underway after a tornado touched down, injuring dozens of people. None of those hurt are in critical condition after the rare twister swept through a village late yesterday. The tornado struck as this summer's intense heat wave gave way to thunderstorms in many areas of the region. About 300 of the 500 houses in the village were damaged. 100 of them may no longer be safe to live in. All homes in the community have been evacuated while safety officials check them. France gets a few dozen tornadoes a year. The Canadarm got a workout today about 400 kilometers above Earth.
International Space Station Flight Control Room here in Houston, Texas. There on your screen, you can currently see a live view outside of the International Space Station as NASA astronaut Neil Menon is currently attached to the space station's robotic arm. That robotic arm being maneuvered by the crew still inside the International Space Station.
2 astronauts were out there for about 6.5 hours. They were installing a replacement antenna, which helps carry high-speed data between the orbiting outpost and mission control. The same 2 crew members were also outside last week to remove the old antenna and secure it to the station's truss. So, Jeff, do we call today a transition day? We haven't talked about that in a long time.
No, I haven't used that turn of phrase in a while, but we can tell you that, yes, we are transitioning from windy conditions with okay temperatures and smoke to, well, it's going to be a lot warmer and a lot sunnier as we make our way into tomorrow and the next few days. We'll talk about that later on. Let's take a little look here at our temperatures. 23 degrees right now in Saskatoon and in Prince Albert. 24 in the Battlefords. More sunshine in the Battlefords right now. And all 3 locations, light to moderate winds. Making our way to the almanac for Saskatoon. 24 degrees, so 1 degree above seasonal. 23 is typical this time of year. 38 degrees in 1930. That was the record hot temperature on this date. The record cold temperature, yes, for a second day in a row, it is from 1934. Yesterday was +2. Today, -2. A chilly -2. The sun it was going to go down at 8:10, and it came up at Chicago 60609. There we go. I love that zip code. We'll have more details for you later on.
Coming up, studying close encounters of the 5th kind, what a Canadian researcher is hoping to learn about people who try to talk to UFOs.
It's Morning Show host versus Rough Rider quarterback in an epic battle. Wednesday on Your Morning, Trevor Harris says he's got the best dad jokes. You know I'm full of them. We'll find out who has the best ones.
All righty, let's take a look. Hey, anybody on the court? It doesn't look like maybe somebody's thinking about going on the court there, but yeah. Oh, wait. Somebody may be working on their serve. Yes, the tennis courts would be a great place to be, not just tonight, but as we make our way into the next few days. Make sure you got your sunscreen on there and wearing a hat and doing all those right things, because we've got some sunny and hot days coming our way. That big heat dome anchored down in the American Southwest, probably around New Mexico, that is still going to continue to dominate the situation, pushing that hot air up into Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba. Expecting some rain on the west coast, but not the rain where we want it, which is in the interior in a big way. And of course, this system continues to move into Ontario and bring with us some nasty storms. All right, let's take a look and see what we've got going on. Just to recap, 23 degrees in Saskatoon and Prince Albert, 24 in the Battlefords. Our hot spot, well, that was Leader at 27 degrees. Key Lake, the cold spot at 6. Around the province we go. Currently, it is 24 degrees in Swift Current and Lloydminster and Regina, 25 in Moose Jaw, 20 in Yorkton, 23 in Estevan. Into central parts of the province, northern Greenbelt, parts of the Lakeland region. Temperatures ranging from 20 degrees in Wynyard up to 25. That's in Kindersley. It's 24 in Meadow Lake and 24 as well in Nipawin. Up north into the mid to high teens for many locations, but into the low 20s for Buffalo Narrows, La Ronge, and Sandy Bay Island Falls. Down south, it's still pretty hot in Leader, where it's 27 degrees, 26 in Maple Creek, 25 in Coronach and Weyburn. A number of other places in the low 20s, and it's 20 degrees right now in Melville, 24 in Carlisle, 21 in Broadview. On to our futurecast. Well, as you can see, those pressure lines don't get really close together until maybe later in the evening, and that's still not super close together. So a relatively calm day in terms of the wind, and as you can see, not much in the way of active weather across the prairies. A little bit more action in northern Manitoba, I suppose. Around the province we go. So for tomorrow, we've got ourselves temperatures in the low to mid 20s for northern Saskatchewan under a mix of sky conditions. Although sunshine dominates the picture, and that's certainly true of west central Saskatchewan, with temperatures around 27 or 28 degrees on Wednesday. Temperatures in the low 30s, high 20s for southwestern Saskatchewan. Again, sunny or mainly sunny skies. Big time sunshine for the southeast, with temperatures in and around 26 or 27 degrees. Into the east central part of the province, 24 for Melfort, 27 for Watrous, 25 for Humboldt, and 23 for Hudson Bay, and a lot of sunshine for those locations. Now, it's dropping down to 11 degrees with clear skies for the Battleford. Sunshine tomorrow and 27 degrees. Staying pretty nice on Thursday. cloudy, mainly cloudy and 29, 26 on Friday, 22 on Saturday, cooling off on Sunday, but just by a degree, but a chance of some showers, but then bouncing back to above seasonal temperatures for Monday and Tuesday. Prince Albert's overnight temperature, 8 degrees, 26 tomorrow with sunshine. Then we've got ourselves 27 on Thursday and Friday, 24 on Saturday, Sunday 19 with a chance of showers, but rebounding on Monday and Tuesday. And Saskatoon dropping down to 9 degrees with clear skies. And then we've got ourselves a high of 27 tomorrow. And hey, by the way, the Broadway area, congratulations to the Broadway bid. Today they celebrated their 40th anniversary. 29 degrees on Thursday, Friday sunny and 28, and then cooling off on Sunday, but rebounding Monday and Tuesday. Australia is set to ban music generated by artificial intelligence from official charts as the industry says the technology threatens artists' livelihoods. The Australian Record Industry Association announced the move today. It comes as a version of Madonna's hit Like a Prayer, created by an Australian producer using AI-generated vocals and drums, has spent 16 weeks on the charts. The association says some AI-assisted music will remain eligible as long as it meets certain requirements, including featuring human voices.
Oscar winner, Oscar, what do you call it when you don't? Nominee.
All right. Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson are teaming up for an upcoming comedy series called Brothers. The pair play fictionalized versions of themselves, their lives thrown into chaos after McConaughey's mother let slip that they might be siblings. The 8-part series debuts September 23rd on Apple TV. And some of the most famous props in movie history are up for auction. The white disco suit worn by John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever is expected to sell for up to $400,000. That's the stunt axe used by Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Those are the knives used from Edward Scissorhands. And that's the bat suit Michael Keaton wore in Batman Returns. And, oh, that's the amber from Jurassic Park. And the license plate from Back to the Future. There's more than 1,700 lots up for grabs online at the Prop Store auction. It begins tomorrow and runs through Sunday. Break out the checkbook.
Better save your pennies.
Well, there's some cool stuff there.
What is also cool, priceless, and free is Pick of the Day.
That's right. We've got some really nice ones again, as often is the case. This one from Carol, taken August 18th, so I guess a week ago, at Memorial Lake Regional Park, enjoying grandkids at the beach. They couldn't believe how quiet the beach was. People are already gearing up for the school year ahead. Yeah, it looks pretty placid there. From Jamie, these beauties self-seated at Emma Lake. Those are absolutely beautiful. Great close-up there. And finally from Jeff, the Saskatchewan Aviation Museum held its annual Aviation Days this weekend, and I was lucky enough to get a quick flight in a 2-seater jet trainer from the 1960s. We pulled nearly 3 Gs on a couple banks, and I got to take the stick for a bit. Super cool experience. I'm sure it was. Good for you, Jeff. That is wicked. So if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, and please put Pick of the Day in the subject line. It helps us sort through the emails.
Still to come on CTV News, initiating contact with UFOs. How a Calgary researcher wants to dive deeper into ET encounters. University of Calgary anthropologist is studying people who believe they've found a way to talk to UFOs. His research is taking him around the world exploring a movement that blends technology, meditation, and belief in extraterrestrial life. Mark Villani explains.
For decades, TV shows like The X-Files fueled our fascination with UFOs and aliens. But some people aren't just looking to the sky, they're trying to make contact.
They describe what they're doing as close encounters of the fifth kind.
Dr. Shane Dahl is a University of Calgary anthropologist researching a global phenomenon he calls techno-shamanism. He's interviewing groups around the world who use technology like laser pointers and Geiger counters to signal UFOs, combined with meditation, visualization, and what participants describe as telepathic contact.
You sort of meditate into a state where you can imagine your consciousness leaving your body and going into deep space. And while you're in deep space, sending out a signal.
Experts say those signals are meant to establish diplomatic communications and peaceful relationships with ETs.
There have been whistleblowers who have come forth and talked about their experience in classified and other covert programs within the military.
It comes as the U.S. government released 41 more declassified files this month on unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. The material doesn't prove the objects are extraterrestrial, but it is giving researchers more data to examine, with search efforts advancing through the use of AI.
And so they're training AI to differentiate between ordinary objects and other things. And it's the other things that people are interested in.
More than 1,000 UFO sightings were reported in Canada last year. The vast majority occurred in August. And Calgary led the country with 28 sightings. While there's no confirmation of any contact with aliens, this researcher says his work is more about revealing how people see their place in the universe.
They're transforming popular cosmology through ritual practice.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
When we come back, bringing cultural celebrations home in a Saskatchewan community, and later the epic fail at a recent competition.
Here's what's happening in our community. Friday, Echoes of Bengal presents Arnav and Friends, a special musical showcase at Prairieland Park. Doors open at 6. The annual Northern Image Photographers exhibition, In This Day and Age, can be seen at the Mann Art Gallery in Prince Albert from September 1st to 23rd. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen. All right, let's take a look at our rural forecast for tomorrow, and it's looking pretty good. If you like warm conditions and sunny skies, that's what we have in store. The temperatures in the mid to high 20s. That's looking very nice. 29 for Kindersley, 20 out for Outlook, 27 for Lloydminster and Meadow Lake. Cools off a bit towards the eastern side of the province, but that's still at or above seasonal values. 24 for Melfort and Wynyard, 23 for Hudson Bay. Let's make our way down south, and there you go. We've got ourselves 32 in Leader and Maple Creek on Wednesday, 29 in East End and Cypress Hills areas and in Rosetown. And then as we make our way eastward, yeah, it does cool off, but it cools off to above seasonal temperatures, or at least seasonal. You can certainly see that up around Kenora. Let's check in with Lipton, and Lipton's expected to hit 28 degrees tomorrow with lots of sunshine and not much of a wind. So things are looking pretty good for Lipton. And Lipton is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Greetings, everyone. For years, those on Muscopine Soto Nation traveled elsewhere to experience the sights and sounds of powwow. Now the nation has its own powwow arbor, combining Soto cultural traditions with modern structural engineering.
The powwow arbor on Muscopine Soto Nation can be seen from miles away, a new fixture on the nation's landscape. The design of the structure has caught international attention, winning awards abroad and picking up 2 national architecture honors.
Because it has no center pole for structure, the architects had to design this marvelous facility using a suspension system that's unique. So that particular suspension system has been what's garnering us so much attention.
In 2022 and 2023, the Arbor won 4 awards, including 2 from the World Architecture Festival, highlighting the building's circular geometry.
When we first were thinking of this concept, we thought about like a cheaper, not so big arbor like this. So to see it come to fruition, the plans and the details that went into it, and to see it actually win national and international awards, it makes our heart feel good.
The community's journey of bringing song and dance back to the nation started in 2021. Back then, those who enjoy powwow needed to visit neighboring nations for the experience. It's been a nice change for those who have spent much of their lives on the nation.
To be able to see our community flourish and come together, to bring people together, to work together, you know, I feel very proud of everything that is here on our community.
This is Muscopetung's second annual traditional powwow. The event has already been expanded to 3 days, with plans for it to continue to grow and evolve.
The powwow was an opportunity for us to let our members have a Muscopetung memory, and so if anything is successful, just to be able to have our members have a memory of Muscopetung makes it all worth it.
The powwow arbor is used for other cultural events throughout the year and can fit up to 2,500 people, including 1,000 powwow dancers.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
The Riders have signed another receiver as the team navigates a slew of injuries.
Mitchell, deep end zone, touchdown!
American wide receiver Shamar Bridges joins the Green and White after spending 2 full seasons with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, including the 2024 season when he was the East Division's most outstanding rookie. The 28-year-old hadn't appeared in a game for the Tabbies this season, starting the year on the 6-game injured list before being cut last week. One of Canada's largest farming operations faces a potential issue with its crop insurance as it faces financial difficulties. In an affidavit earlier this month, Swift Current-based Monette Farms outlined that the Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Corporation identified an overpayment of $1.9 million through an audit of the operation's 2023-24 insurance payouts. The insurance corporation says the overpayment must be repaid in order to maintain this year's coverage, with Monette disputing the insurer's position and exploring whether it can terminate the coverage while the farming group is under creditor protection. The intensifying trade war, an ongoing affordability crisis, and consumer debt means more Canadians are falling behind on their payments. The stress is concerning in Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Ontario. According to TransUnion, Canadians carrying non-mortgage debt owed an average of $28,118. That's up 7.6% from a year ago. In total, consumer debt hit more than $2.6 trillion. At the same time, more people are declaring bankruptcy or filing consumer proposals to restructure their debt. Coming up, a monumental move takes place in Japan. Then a poor performance for a highly anticipated event.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television, starting tonight at 7 with Jeopardy Masters. Well, an incredible journey to move a centuries-old castle is nearing its end. Over a decade ago, Japan's Hirosaki Castle was carefully lifted and slowly moved so work could be done on the stone wall that supports it. Now the castle is being moved back as slowly and surely as before with some good old-fashioned muscle. 1,000 people were selected by lottery to pull the castle tug-of-war style. They ended up moving it a little more than 1 meter.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Be strenuous.
Let's move it's old school.
Right? Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right, we talk a lot about robots on the show, and we show you a lot of things that robots can do fairly well. But here's an example of one that has failed in its task.
Thank goodness.
This is from the World Humanoid Robot Games in China. A robot fell into the judges' table. Look at it from this angle while trying to pick up a weight at the games in Beijing. The fall took place during the weightlifting final at the second edition of the games. China's robot games have become a national showcase celebrated by state media. It's also been proving a ground for commercial products from companies looking to show real-world applications beyond the spectacle. Looks like they've got a team resuscitating.
Exactly. Oh no, X344 is dead. Oh no!
That would be a little tense for the judges.
I would think so. Got 30 seconds here left, and I know I could have got weather, but I'd rather talk about Dolly. In 1974, Dolly had a chance to have Elvis record "I Will Always Love You." On the eve of the recording, Colonel tells Dolly that, well, if we do this, Elvis gets half the publishing rights. And Dolly said no. Broke her heart, but she said no. But an amazing woman, an amazing life, and boy, will she be missed.
She sure will. Thanks for watching.